One team locked in for the grand finals. It was a full three-map affair between Renegades and Kingwin, but the Thunder from down under did indeed raise the roof here at DreamHack Winter. They managed to get that spot in the semi-finals, and it was a very disheartening defeat for the Poles. It was a long journey for them. Kingwin taking us all the way from not only the qualifiers, which was all best of threes, they managed to get through those best of ones, get to the semi-finals, and then did fall a little bit short, going a full 30 rounds in that third. It was a great first semi-final, and hopefully that sets the scene for what we get to witness here in the second. Now, if you are enjoying the games at home, or if you are indeed looking forward to what's coming up next, if you're a Godsent fan, or if you're enjoying Gambit and what they've been up to so far in this tournament, I'm about to ask the guys on my left, but I want to ask you as well. Hashtag DHOpen. H. I said it right this time, Jason. Yeah, I thought about it.
It's powerful.
Thank you.
Whatever happened with the vote on Yenko's Mohawk?
I haven't actually reviewed the results. Maybe we should do a poll.
We should do a poll.
We should do a poll.
Okay.
Yeah, cool. Oh, glad we decided on that. Speak of the devil.
looking happy over there on the other side of the desk.
Super cheerful. I think Yanko's got the best deadpan face. I can't hold a face like that. Fraser.
I don't think that's deadpan. I think that's just his face.
He just has. Oh, all right. Hi, Yanko.
Hello.
Classic. Oh, okay, moving away from the Mohawk then, evidently it's a touchy subject. We can start talking about this, the way in which we got these two semi-finalists as well. We've already seen Renegades and we've talked about them and their journey with Kingwin, but if you can bring up the groups, if you'd like to start things off to understand how Gambit got here, it tells the story better than we can. It did start for, well, both of them. Godsent had a much easier route. It was a 16-9 victory versus Flipside, never really seeing Flipside get going. And as they got sent up to the uppers, they didn't have too much trouble dispatching Kingwin on Mirage. So far, pretty easy for them, and now they had basically the whole day off. I mean, in the meantime, Gambit were made to, well, work a little harder through blood, sweat, and tears, and a couple of headshots. They did manage to not only find the win versus Optic, but also, after falling into the lowers to the Aussies, recover, bounce back, and win a full 3 maps versus Cloud9. And Jason, I feel like the discussion truly does start with Gambit in that best of 3.
Yeah, I mean, this is Gambit. This surprisingly, they look good to me. This event. I don't know what I expected, but I mean, tactically they look solid. I mean, Zeus coming in seems to have helped this team a lot, obviously, and then everyone seems to be. I mean, World Edit has had a great tournament so far, so this is all well. Did I have the?
You just pulled a nothing.
Yeah, I did just pull a nothing.
You just pulled a nothing. My eyes like narrowed. I was like, mate,
I saw it in your eyes.
Am I pulling a nothing?
I was like, here I go. Here it is.
Am I pulling a nothing here?
Wrong turn. Took a wrong turn somewhere.
Oh, it's okay.
Mo has been playing well.
And you're right. He has. Yeah, spectacular stuff. World Edit, however, is not present anymore. Flipside did get knocked down. Now, Yanko, do you feel like saying more than one word?
Yes.
Fantastic. Godsent, they just picked up 2 best of 1s. Is it enough for us to gauge form at this point in time?
Not really.
No.
I mean, we're still to see them play more maps, right? And that's where it's going to get super interesting, because they, similar to Gambit, didn't have a lot of time with the new roster to actually put the time in to practice. There's a lot of online leagues going on, as well a lot of officials. So it's going to be interesting, you know, the lack of preparation versus a lot of individual skill and playing in front of a home crowd.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how things do go down for them. Now, before we do kind of start talking about the specifics, we have an opportunity to go ahead and take a quick look. Quick refresher in what these teams had, got up until this point, and also had an opportunity to speak to some of the players themselves.
It's going to be no problem to win this tournament, because I think we can beat any team easily. We just need to make sure that we stay focused on ourselves and really play to the best of our ability.
Of course, it feels good, but I think this is not the end of our run. This is just only beginning.
Mo's got an angle, Mo's got a shot. He's not missing those today. A second kills elsewhere on the map, and Mo's going to find the hat trick eventually.
A LAN environment makes you see different problems on different maps much faster, I think, because you try to do the best you can on every single match. That's the main key to why we're here.
I know that Godsent is a lot of skillful players. It's going to be hard for us to beat them on their home soil.
Done, but he tosses a grenade out just before he ends up getting killed. And now from the back, here comes JW with 2 kills.
It's always great playing for the fans here. It feels special to play in Sweden, of course, and DreamHack is always doing nice events, so it's good.
You always want to win extra, just to make sure that the fans are happy and that they feel like it's worth coming here.
Of course, everything can happen. And we got people who can just make the dream come true. I think this is good for us, and I think the potential is really big.
Adren says their road is not going to be easy, but they also claim it's not over. It's Godsent who they're going up against. The Swedish side, you heard from RDL, their coach, just stating that this is going to be easy. Not sure if that's an attitude that necessarily has the best recipe for success if the test does start getting a little tough. But Lekro, Schneider, Pronax, JW, and Flusher. He was not wrong when he said, Yanko, that they have got some scary firepower.
Absolutely. The team that has,
terrifying.
You know, the likes of JW, Flusha, Schneider and Lekro as well. It's just a matter of Flusha has been their probably most consistent player. Even before the roster change, when they actually had some good results, it was mostly because of him having some beastly performances. But seeing from the statements of players in the interviews, it seems like they have a much better atmosphere in the team right now, which will probably lead to better performances from the rest of the team as well.
I do note that Pronax is sitting in the middle. Now, I know that that default was like the leader's seat, but is that even a point to be made anymore?
I mean, it's a matter of him being, you have the best vision to your teammates as monitors, but sometimes it doesn't have to be the case.
Like
sometimes it's based on the positions you hold on the CT side, so you make it so that you're sitting next to the person you're holding the bomb site with, so you can easily look at his screen, but most of the times, yes, the in-game leader is in the middle.
It's also like a byproduct of history in Counter-Strike, where with the old tournaments in 1.6, we didn't always use third-party programs to use chat, so the leader would always be in the middle because you'd actually have to shout because the in-game voice comms were not very good.
That's
so
awesome.
Instead of using voice comms, everyone would just be yelling at the top of their lungs. So that's just a byproduct of that.
And keeping it retro then, Pronax sat in the middle for Godsent. And going up against them is Gambit that have, I mean, it's a repeat. I feel like I'm maybe a bit of a broken record. I said the same about Kinguin, and I'll say the same about Gambit, is that they have continuously impressed us here in Jönköping. Under the lead of the man on your screens there, the tattooed beast that is Zeus. He's been kind of making waves already within the Gambit roster. He hasn't been there long, but already we have, as analysts, as people here at the desk who are, you know, watching their games under scrutiny, got a lot of positive things to say about the way they look. In fact, Yanko, I mean, you have specifically been highlighting that you really like the new look Gambit with Zeus in the roster.
Sure, because they, more than anything else, they seem to have become a proactive team. They react to things happening on the map. They're not just static and letting their opponents come at them. And for me, that's always a better way to play Counter-Strike, because otherwise it is much more easier for you to get exploited and to get countered by your opponent. And we saw some great stuff from Gambit, especially considering how little time they've had to practice as well.
Look at Dosius monitor. Like, who put that camera there? Just putting it in front of the monitor? Or is that just a byproduct of him putting his monitor right next to his nose? I'm not sure which one that is.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, who knows? Who knows?
Who knows? Hey.
But no, I mean, you look at also this team that we have here. I mean, obviously Hobbit was someone that we were going to be scrutinizing. He's played better. I mean, the real only like voice that we've heard that is like spoken out and saying he was going to be incredibly talented was like Adren was the original one saying this guy came in, we like what we see, and now we're seeing why. He's had a great event so far. Maybe not like the craziest performances, but I mean, very good impact for someone who's inexperienced. And then Adren has been consistent himself. I mean, as we've seen over the past few months, he's done a very good job of consistently having good games.
Seems like Adren has been the mini Fallen to an extent, being, you know, the first Kazakh player to play internationally. Then first he brings in Mo into the team, now Hobbit as well. This team is majority Kazakhstanian now. I have 3 Kazakhstanian players, so very interesting to see how it evolves.
It is cool. I mean, I love that we have, there's a Kazakhstan flag now on the Gambit roster, on the Gambit logo, which is not something you see every day in Counter-Strike.
What's going on with Namibia?
Yeah, well, that was make African CS great again.
How are they doing?
I think we've resolved that one for the third day here.
Mr. Blade.
Yeah, well done. It's in Gambit as well, don't forget. Let's bring up the vetoes. Let's have a quick look at those ones, because when it comes to best of 3, this will be the first one we've seen from Godsent.
I think this is where it gets very interesting, because neither of these teams plays Nuke, and I think if any of the teams ban it in the first phase, that will give a big advantage to their opponents, and in turn they also can have a very good pick. Like Gambit, whether they go, so they ban Cash, that's a great ban, and Godsent can go here for either a Dust 2 ban or perhaps even Cobblestone, depending what they're more comfortable on playing out of the two, because they go for Nuke. So this allows Gambit to most likely pick Cobblestone. That seems to be their most comfortable map right now. In turn, Godsent will have Train open. I feel that is going to be their pick.
They get their Cobblestone. Yanko, you're 100% so far.
He's good.
He's not bad, not too shabby.
And I mean, we saw, in the highlights, and we just saw it in that first semifinal, Oppers on Cobble are going to be very, very powerful, and Mo had a great game on it. Yanko again, correct with Train.
Yeah, what did we talk about for the third? Dust 2, you're suggesting it could come down to a Dust 2?
Yeah, I think it's going to be overpass unless
I mean,
Godsent decides to leave.
Oh, could you stop it, Yanko? You stallion.
I'm sorry, Alex, it's just my job.
You're just damn good at it.
I like getting paid.
Don't we all? Godsent then have managed to whittle it down to Overpass as the third, should we need it. And I certainly hope we do. I mean, these semi-finals have definitely kept us on our toes so far. In fact, we're even leading up to that. The group stages did the same.
we have to remember as well that third map. I mean, the Fnatic team under Pronax is one of the best Overpass teams we've seen, and they really pioneered a lot of the crazy ways to play it on, over towards bathrooms, getting re-aggressive when you lose a player. So that's a map that, with that core of Pronax, Flush, and JW, they have a lot of experience playing that map together.
But they've struggled a lot on it as Godsent. Okay, that was in the first, after the shuffle, that first iteration of the new team, and they've had some really poor performances, even against teams that you wouldn't really consider top tier. So it's going to be extremely interesting if it comes to a third map.
This is going to be awesome. I want to know your predictions, boys. Players have knifed already. It's a full 3 maps to predict. Not easy, I admit, Yanko, but if you want to just kind of explain your reasoning and give me a team name. Or win conditions for Godsent. There you go. I know you prefer it that way.
I mean,
Alex's prediction.
For Godsent, it does come down. I really think that teams will split maps. There is a chance of Godsent winning Cobblestone as well if they get off to a really good start, perhaps on the T side. But I think it will come down to that Overpass game. And for that, I think it's a coin toss, honestly. But
Don't have any coins on me.
I don't know. Like, something's drawing me to say Gambit, that Gambit is going to take a 2-1 here, despite the home crowd and despite, some legends on the Godsent roster.
Yeah, I think this is actually sneakily like a very good opportunity for Gambit. I think they've looked phenomenal this event in terms of where we've seen them come. But I'm going to take Godsent. I'm going to stick with the legendary players, with the abilities of Flusha, Pronax. I think Lekro's having a good event as well again. So I'm going to go Godsent, but I do think it'll be 3 maps.
Well, since I found out that my name pops up when I say something, I'm going to actually hold Yanko's hand and skip merrily into the sunset. This Cobblestone, I mean, let's not forget they got a 16-2 versus Cloud9 on Cobble yesterday. They beat Optic on it as well. 2 North Americans fell on that particular map. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Cobblestone go their way as well as their map.
0% on the day. Yanko's probably feeling confidence next to you.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that one plays out. My King win call.
I make my own luck, Jason.
All right, Two-Face.
Let's get out. It is Two-Face. I was really annoyed I couldn't pick that up. Yeah. Right, we're going to go ahead and head over to your casters. It's our second semi-final. And before we do go, if you want to understand exactly where these guys, how they got to this state, if you want to understand how the Godsent Swedish roster shuffle went down, there was plenty of news articles covering all of that. Why did Crims go back? There's interviews there as well. It's all on the Score eSports app. And you can go ahead and grab that on your smartphone. It's even available online if you haven't got a phone. If you haven't got a phone, who are you? What are you doing? Where have you been? Right, let's go ahead and jump over to your casters. It's our second semi-final here for the DreamHack ZOWIE Open. You don't want to miss this.
Thank you very much, Alex. Yes, we are here to bring you the coverage of the second semi-finals. Godsent on home turf up against Gambit. We didn't expect to see these teams in the semis. We expected to see the likes of Dignitas and Cloud9. It's been a strange old tournament, but here we are, another best of 3.
My boy Metas here talks for me, so Metas, go ahead. What are your thoughts?
Oh man, it's hard to say. I would probably edge with Godsent, but it could easily go the way of Gambit. I mean, how many times have we sat here already and said this team's going to win, and then they end up losing? Dignitas got rolled. We saw Cloud9 get beaten. I'm going to go with Godsent, though. I think it's going to go down to a 3-mapper, though.
This is why Metas doesn't talk very often. So I'm going to go with Gambit, bro. I think Gambit have got this in the bag. What they showed against Cloud9 last night, they looked on point. They were hitting shots. They're clearly confident in their ability. I definitely think that Gambit have an edge over a Godsent that has been a little shaky. Not really feeling like we've seen everything that Godsent are capable of, let alone, them being in a confident state of mind, where they think that they're showing everything that they're capable of. So that shakiness, that shakiness.
Yeah, I mean, it could definitely come down to that. But again, I don't think the Gambit have shown me enough consistency with the roster they have. Obviously, they haven't been a roster for that long, really. Zeus, obviously, newly in, to necessarily sway me in that way. Godsent looked really good when we casted them just yesterday, the day before. I think it was the first day we casted them in that best of 1. And it was on train. And JW was playing lights out Counter-Strike. We also saw at points the likes of Schneider actually picking up an AWP. Flusher was landing shots. They look pretty solid. But of course, it's a different day. That's the key thing. With Counter-Strike, you never quite know if that form's going to continue through. What we do know, though, is we're kicking things off on Cobblestone, and Godsent will be on the CT side.
Indeed. First round of the second semifinal here at DreamHack, and it's going to be Godsent on that CT side, Gambit on the T side, and Gambit, pretty straightforward stuff from them. Only a single man carrying the utility, that's going to be Zeus. He likes to do that. He's going to be the one to set things up here for his teammates who are rocking Kevlar, and already we see flusha giving ground. They're going very aggressive here, Gambit's taking over A long immediately, and they still have Hobbit waiting around in underpass as well. Curious to see if Hobbit can produce another pistol ace. Definitely going to be keeping an eye on him.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those kind of scenarios here with Gambit where I'm going to be so super interested to see how Zeus, Hobbit really fit in with the rest of them. So far, so good, though, for Godsent. They haven't lost any early players. Gambit haven't really got out into the open. They're still lurking around long. They've got a couple players up on drop zones. The options are still open for them. They still have 2 flashes and a smoke on top of that, so they can still barrel their way through onto the B side.
I'm pretty surprised by this, actually. It was a tendency for teams at some point to, or recently actually, to just go for straight A rushes on their pistol rounds. YOLO up onto the A site. Very straightforward approach to it. But it looks like Gambit are going to try and change things up. Hobbit takes the drop immediately, clears it out, and the push on Plateau begins. They're going to just go ahead and bum rush on the B site with a bit of delay. 40 seconds left on the clock, and there's the first kill for Hobbit, starting off strong. He's still alive and drop as well, so Godsent are going to have to worry about that. But in the meantime, the rest of Gambit trying to push out into the open.
4 health on Schneider, who's hiding behind the rock. He's going to go down eventually, leaving flusha with so much ahead of him. 20 seconds left, but more than enough time for that bomb to get planted, and Hobbit comes in for his second kill. All too easy for Gambit in the pistol.
Hobbit is a monster, but I think the important question that we have to be asking here is who is his Gandalf? Is that man right there on your screen leading this team now? Is he going to take them on a merry adventure where they're going to have to deal with Swedish Vikings? You know, they're going to come at them out of the shadows in a castle?
I like it. Maybe he will be the man to do just that. 4 CZs for Godsent with a 1 Deagle. 4 SMGs in the meanwhile, the hands of the terrorists. And, well, it looks like they're going to have another split. Almost an identical start to the last round where Gambit put 2 players around the B side. Pretty standard stuff, nothing out of the ordinary. flusha is pushing up long with his CZ, but not going to see any action for the time being.
No, it's very slow-paced start here, actually. It's just Godsent kind of counting on Gambit going B once again. You had success in the pistol round on B. Usually B side is a pretty popular site to be hitting if you're on the T side. It's so difficult to deal with that plateau push when it comes in, and especially if you can get dropped like Hobbit did in the pistol there. And again, Hobbit going to be hanging around here, but little does he know, JW is waiting right under him. And we're talking about the master of the CZ. Still gets the drop on him, but barely. 16 HP left, and there the effective trade comes in from Pronax. So a 1-for-1 trade so far, but the rest of Gambit trying to push out onto the B site from Plateau, and Zeus and Doja finding the kills. It's all on Lekro, and he's going to get caught out in the open.
This is so rough. You can see he does land one shot to Adrena, who's already tagged up heavily, but he has to watch out for drop, platform, tree push as well. And for the second time, flusha finds himself all that remains.
Not a whole lot that flusha can do in this sort of scenario.
No, pretty much just save.
Yep. Save the gun. Because you have that CZ, you have that Kevlar. Maybe you can be the hero next round. Maybe you can make the difference for your team. Always an option. But so far, I mean, this is just kind of par for the course, right? Gambit, they're moving together. I do like to see that, right? When they do get to that plateau area, they're all peeking together. They have good spacing, it looks like, so they're able to keep together, and in case one of them does get picked off, there's a peekaboo moment, a broken wall, something along those lines. The second man through is right there to trade. But if they move out as a unit, there's just so much firepower there for Gambit that there isn't a whole lot that Godsent can do with the pistols. flusha does get the drop on Doja, but he eventually will get traded by Zeus. 2-0 lead now for Gambit. Fairly expensive round, all things considered, but they did invest quite a bit in SMGs, not so much in the rifles, Gambit, so it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, they just lost 3 SMGs. They keep their 1 AK-47 in the hands of Mo, so they're going to be just fine. Can easily replenish the SMGs as well if they so choose, which seems to be the case. Mac 10 and UMP. Adrena's just going to stick with his Deagle. And Godsent have a Taser, a Zeus, and pretty much nothing else.
No, it's Gambit that have a Zeus, man.
Well, I guess they both technically do now.
Okay. Yes, there is a Zeus on JW.
Not for
that
much
dog.
longer.
And he deserved to get shredded by shrapnel for having that. Pronax, though, gets the drop on Hobbit. That's a nice shot. Instant headshot, instant trade. Godsent continuing to make this a little bit more expensive for Gambit. If they can keep trading like this, it's going to get fun. Adrian, rather. I always get confused. It's Adrian this time. Looking for the peak, looking for the trade, not going to find it. And we actually see Gambit, instead of going 3 times towards B site, they are changing it up early here, going towards that A site.
Mac 10 in the hands of Schneider, but obviously head armor across the board for Gambit. Disposable weapon, expendable. backing away to the site. They actually have a P250 as well on Pronax, so maybe that's a play waiting to happen. And he is right back at the site on the barrels. But there's almost a guarantee that Gambit are going to check these corners. I mean, how passive the CTs are currently sitting, there's no way they don't check this. There's the first one. Pronax actually comes out a bit earlier. I actually like that. He must have known he was going to get spotted anyway. So at least he's going to take a player down with him. But again, they only had 1 AK coming into this round. So Gambit, it's not a huge deal if they're going to lose 2 weapons. They should just claw out from here.
It's bonus money for him. That's an extra $600 in this round. He's paid back that P250 and then some. So nice round here for Pronax with those 2 kills. We'll see how he decides to spend that money. Could be the difference between having a kit and not having a kit in the next round. But they continue to make this a fun start to Cobblestone here. The first map in this best of 3 of the second semifinal. We saw Renegades win versus Kingwin earlier in the first semifinal of the day. And so these 2 teams battling to see who can take on the Aussies.
Pretty crazy situation to be in with Renegades waiting in the grand finals up against one of these 2 teams. And so far, it's been Gambit that have been edging ahead. But as you said, I mean, Godsent have got kills. They are going to have more nades as a result. Often when it's a 3-0, when you see a buy come in, you're going to see something like a FAMAS, a Mag 7, lack of nades. But they have plenty of nades across the board here. They've got a couple of incendiaries. They have actually skimped out on a kit as a result, but we'll have to see if it's even required.
They want the anti-rush nades, I suppose, right? Those incendiaries cost a bit more, so kind of have to prioritize the money for that. Pronax with the peak. And if he is playing underpass, yeah, you could understand why he wants to have that incendiary. If he's playing close, it'll be good to try and throw a little bit of a hitch in things if Gambit decides to actually try and push through there. And the bomb is waiting outside of A long right now. So a 3-0 lead for Gambit, and this is the key round here for Godsent. If they're going to be able to get on the board, things are going to start looking up for the Swedes in front of the home crowd as well. I mean, yes, it's great to play in front of the home crowd, but you better hope that they're cheering for you, because if the crowd is silent, that is an additional weight on your shoulders. You feel like you're letting them down.
Yeah, and you heard of the interview as well. It's important to them to perform for the crowd. Could that put extra anxiety on your shoulders? I'm not entirely sure, but Godsent have every chance of getting themselves this round under their belt. Of course, that first round is going to alleviate some of that pressure. But Gambit, slow and steady, wins the race. Couple of UMPs. We've already seen 4 players with that head armor on Godsent, so they are very much vulnerable and ripe for the taking. 50 seconds now. Gambit going to start to move their way up through mid. It is certainly going to be an A hit.
You can really see Zeus' style here. Slow, measured, clear out the map, take your time, and then around the 40-second mark, you're going to start making ready to go ahead and take the site that you wanted to begin with. 35 seconds left, and the push begins. Big spray from Pronax, but he's only able to get the 1 kill. Hobbit survives with 2 HP, but that should set it up here for Flusha to hold the line. And he is going to pick up 1 kill. They're trading effectively here and doing massive damage. Gambit do not have a whole lot of health to work with.
They sure don't, and they don't have time either, but that kill onto JW is going to open up things nicely. They can now cross to the site. Oh, Elecro with the M4A4 headshot on the approach. 10 seconds now. Zeus is going to have to get himself across, but Elecro's holding firm for another one, and there's very little hope for Hobbit. Down he goes. Elecro, the 3K king, and Godsent will finally get themselves on the board here on Cobblestone.
And the crowd erupts. But yeah, this is the issue with running that old Na'Vi style, that Zeus style, is that if you leave yourself so little time, so little room for error, if you're beginning your push with barely 30 seconds left, you haven't even made it up slope with only 20 seconds left, and Godsent are hitting their shots, you're in a real tough place. And so, well, bit of a hitch in things here for Gambit to start things off, but of course they had the money after such a successful start to the map. They had the money to go for a full buy here. They have that AWP on Mo, and so we'll see if they're going to go ahead and slow down their pace, continue to keep it slow rather, to allow him room to work with here, just like that. Go ahead, take over A long, Flusha holding in danger, and he spots the legs. There we go. Easy kill for him on a Doja, but let's see if they can get the trade. Mo trying to get in here. It's actually Zeus who will hunt Flusha down. Very well done. And that's an effective trade for Gambit. That's how you want to set things up on the offense.
It's rough position as well, as Pronax is going to go down to Zeus, and it's going to start to crumble just after Godsent start to get themselves back into this half.
They messed up their nades, though. Does Mo have a nade for balcony? Do they have any kind of way to angle this out? He needs a smoke to block out balcony, because 2 smokes got used on connector there, and so far Lecro, he just remains here, and he's going to be able to actually get the shot on Adrian as well, doing big damage to him.
Be disappointed he didn't finish off that kill, because now the bomb is still in the hands and it's going to get planted. Now if he gets the kill, bomb gets dropped out, and things are looking a bit sketchy for Gambit. As it stands, Godsent, they've got a kit, they've got a bit of utility to work with, and JW's plucked the head off Hobbit's shoulders. That is one hell of a way to get yourselves back into this retake scenario. Here comes a flash into the peak, and Godsent now going to be charging onto the side, but Mo lands a beautiful shot. It's going to get sprayed down through stables, and that will be the round going to Godsent.
Yeah, sloppy stuff there at the end with the take, not going together as a, not trying to clear out the bomb site together, instead running in one after another. If you're going to walk into a guy who has Lekro's aim, you need to go in as a duo, basically. You need to try and at least trade. Just running in one after another really threw away the advantage that Gambit had managed to actually get for themselves that round. They started off so strong. Zeus with a double entry onto A site. How do you lose that if you're Gambit? Sloppy.
You saw the issue as well for Flusher when he lands the shot through danger, and typically a lot of teams will put a player on long to make sure that they have the crossfire down onto long afterwards, and he got picked off, but afterwards Pronax died. It looked pretty bad for Godsent, but again, it's Lekro, right? It just comes back to these retakes.
I'm a bit surprised. Zeus just kind of jumping up onto the site. It's not ideal. Just a little wonky there for Gambit, and that's the lack of polish that you can see when it's been a recent roster change, perhaps under new leadership. They're changing up how they want to play the game, and then that does create these sorts of scenarios where Gambit might look a little sloppy, they might look a little loose. Godsent obviously have had quite a bit more time to work together. At least the core, right? Ever since the Crim's Lekro shift.
Yeah. 4-1 formation. I like the stack. Gambit again going to be gambling, but doesn't look like it's going to pay off this time around. Going to be feeling out long, feeling out mid, and if Gambit notice that there is a lack of players here, they're going to very likely push on. They are going to be facing off against some pretty heavy firepower, though.
Again, Godsent just going for the stack, and Pronax, it's going to be setting it up for JW. The crossfire setup and drop, that's so difficult to get working for you, but Godsent actually managed it, and now there's a man advantage here. Flusha holds the line, blocking off the site yet again. The smoke goes down, but it's a second too late. He gets a kill for free, and the fast rotation over here from Godsent means that Gambit are just going to get caught out in the open. Mo and Zeus, however, doing some damage, and Zeus with that Tech 9, he's got so many bullets. Eventually, he has to run out. 2 players survived the round for Godsent, tying it up 3-3, but that was a very expensive anti-eco there for Godsent. They lost a lot.
They did, yeah. 3 players. They had an AWP into the round that they're going to be able to stake out of it as well. But as you say, I mean, effectively a half buy did yield quite a lot of results for Gambit. It's not going to be the round, and I was a bit worried because Godsent went for that 4-1 formation. Felt like Gambit may very well just charge through with the Tech 9s, but they played it a little bit slower, and that allowed Godsent to get the picks. But we'll see a lot of rifles into this round, and an MP9 in the hands of JW. That's interesting. Especially considering that Gambit have a full-on buy and they've got no lack of head armors, so the MP9 could be a bit of a weakness.
Sometimes you do see that. Flash is going to set it up. Flusha not going to hear it. Just decides to hold the angle and hope that he gets lucky with the timing. Not going to happen. Hobbit will find JW. Just takes a little bit of damage in the process. And so a man advantage here for Gambit. Once again, they have the edge in the round until Adrian gets caught by Pronax. Excellent work there from Pronax. He's certainly hitting his shots today. Doja, however, will find Flusha. That clears up A. Rotation is now coming in from Pronax, trying to get over to balcony as quickly as possible. And do they have the smoke? Yes, they do. They're already up on the site, and this time it's going to work for Gambit.
Doja landing the frag grenade onto Pronax, and that's pretty much going to halt this retake. As a result of Godsent losing players in the previous 2 rounds, they can't afford to throw these assault rifles away. They are no longer going to be expendable. So will be a save. Gambit back in the lead again. It's been 3 apiece so far, back and forth.
Yeah, a little bit streaky. We'll see if they can actually chain some rounds together here, Gambit, or if this is going to turn into a bit of a brawl in the first half where both teams are going to just pick up rounds trying to break each other's economies. I mean, right now, they've done a pretty successful job. Godsent really do need to hold on to both of these guns. With how expensive the last round was, they just have no bank to fall back on. And so this is Gambit's time to shine. You have to see if they can manage it. They don't want to throw away too much here in this round, Gambit. If they can sack maybe 1 player in this hunt, you don't want to really give away too much more than that, and they will survive with both guns. Nicely done, Godsent. They keep both guns alive. Schneider and Lekro, we'll see if they can actually get something out of them in this round. They're going to be the heroes here. They have a bit of a question now on Godsent. Do they want to force up behind both of these rifles? It's not quite the double eco scenario. It's dancing on the edge, and it does look like it will be the full commit coming in here from Godsent. They're doing it.
Yeah, that is the power of saving a couple of assault rifles. Does allow you to drop some weapons across. Going to be UMP and Mag 7 alongside of FAMAS. Gambit in the meanwhile, they were treading on very thin ice, hence they're not really chasing down Godsent. They had a couple players around $0 at the end of that round, or just towards the end of the round, I should say.
Well, JW decides to get rid of that incendiary very early on. And he's just getting naded. They know that he wants to hold close, especially now that he's given away the fact that he has a shotgun. Interesting decision there by JW, just hoping to get lucky in the smoke, but Gambit know now. They're dealing with a shotgun and drop. Schneider's boosted up here on the big box, and so we'll see if he can get the drop on somebody here on Plateau. That would be a very good start for Godsent if they can actually just kind of slap Gambit around at the beginning of this when the push begins, but not going to be the case. Schneider actually changing up his position, perhaps feeling a bit vulnerable because there's only him alive on the site itself. Rotation is coming in here from Godsent, but Gambit have a window. They have an opening here to get out onto the bomb site.
A lot of this comes down to Schneider. You can hear the footsteps, but now he's got the backup just behind him. As a result, Gambit not getting out fast enough. A very fast rotation comes in for Godsent, and here comes Schneider. He's going to be spraying down 2 frags, not a third, but surely he's done enough damage. Zeus still back with 2. It's the 2v2. The health does favor Godsent, but there is a little bit of time to play with for Gambit.
They haven't got any grenades, though. They don't have any smokes. Nothing to create space. It's going to come down to the headshots, and Hobbit catches Lekro peeking. Pronax is on the lurk, and what a shot from Zeus! Flick onto Pronax. Pronax, no time at all. Not expecting the aggression, perhaps, but he had a window there, Pronax, to actually hit some shots, and Zeus just denies him. Excellent round from Zeus. He just brought it back after the heroics here from Schneider. You thought that's it, Godsent will hold, and then Zeus just took matters into his own hands. He's got 9 kills right now. He's top fragging for Gambit.
Man, they light a fire under his backside, and he is just fragging down. As he said, yeah, when Schneider goes through there, gets a couple of kills alongside Lekro, thinking, okay, that's the round done. There's no way Gambit can get this, and then suddenly Zeus out of nowhere 3. I think Hobbit got 2. Excellent play. And now, as a result of the previous rounds, Godsent have nothing to play with, just a couple pistols. This is Gambit's chance now to just start to steamroll ahead, to keep Godsent down.
Yeah, 5-3 right now. And Lekro going to go for the peek. Pre-fire from him. Drops Adrian. Now there's going to be a gun up there that they could think about trying to get later on in the round. Godsent, JW still hanging around. So Gambit have to worry about that. That backline boost perhaps, but it would pull players out of position. Godsent pretty spread out. They do have the 3 on B. Nice use of the Molotov there to clear the angle, but the shot's coming through. Schneider, long range, managed to pick one up. Hobbit and Mu, however, trading effectively. And they will get out onto this site, despite Godsent's best efforts.
Oh, Flush is just getting tagged. Left, right, center on the rock. Down he goes, Pronax now from behind. Maybe can get himself 1 kill onto a weakened Hobbit, but really there's no hopes. Mac 10 now. I think he's just looking for a potential exit frag. Gambit will take a 6-3 lead. And Godsent, other than that island of 3 rounds that they managed to pick up after the initial 3-0 deficit, it has been one-way traffic for Gambit again. So they will now pick up a 3rd round in a row. Can Godsent keep the sequence up?
That's a big question. I mean, they are managing their guns as well. They don't want anything to fall into Pronax's hands. He's got a Mac 10. There you go. That's your party favor. Although they are going to run right under him. Pronax might try and throw himself out here, try and catch somebody off guard. If he could actually get the drop on Hobbit, this would be big. Hobbit spots him, though. What a shot. No chance at all. Hobbit right there. Recent addition, and he is a monster. He's looking very good right now versus Godsent. And while Godsent, they are going to go for the buy in this round. It is the 10th round with Gambit in the lead, but it's very light on nades. Again, skimping on the kits. Lekro has to go glass cannon AWP with a single flash. This is a risky round here for Godsent. It's going to be really difficult for them to hold. They need to hit their shots, basically. That's what it's all going to come down to here.
And it's such a critical part of this half as well. This could see Gambit picking up maybe even double digits on this halftime. So Godsent, a lot of pressure for them here because they lose this, they're back into another eco. We're going to see a similar buy the round after. This is a big one, and it's going to be the execution onto B. Already players are funneling out onto the site. Schneider with 1. Adrian is going to answer back with 2 of his own. Schneider's going to go down. Doja as well. What is happening here, Godsent? It's very similar circumstances to what we saw a couple rounds prior. They get the opening pick and then get crushed afterwards.
This is where you see the nade superiority. Godsent, they have no utility to work with, and so they're having to take duels straight up. And if you're going up against AKs, that can be a tough give because that single headshot AK, you're facing it, but you really don't have a whole lot to work with. You have to be on point. Flusha is going to turn this into a 1v3, but he's backing off trying to save his gun, and Zeus is hot on his heels. He's just going to be a second too late. And he seems to realize this. Zeus downloading Flusha? That hasn't happened very often. I mean, Flusha is known. He is known for his mind games, an incredibly intelligent player. And again, still continues to survive, making this even more expensive for Gambit. Would be worth it to get rid of it, though, and they will through the smoke. Doja with the spray. He's going to be able to shut Flusha down, stop him from saving that M4. But Flusha, I mean, he is a key player here for Godsent. He has to be a standout player. He has to be, well, a bit more effective. He is sitting on 7 kills, though, so it's not like he's really trailing behind, but just a tough scenario for him. We can't really criticize him when you're trying to rotate over to B that's already been swamped by Gambit.
Absolutely. I mean, that is the nightmare when you're sort of marooned on A, B's been taken, you're like, oh, guys, really, again? I have to try and retake this site. There's so many angles. And he's been in like 1v3s 4 or 5 times now. So it goes to show that B really has been the dominant site for Gambit. And why the hell not? It's working for them. They're going to continue to poke and probe it.
Well, I like it. When you have nade superiority, when you have all of the utility necessary for your full execute that you've practiced 200, 300 times, right, that you know is effective, sure. Just go towards that B site. Run that strat. And now Gambit, they're going to be walking up here against Pistols. Doja, he's got the angle, and he's going to walk right into Pronax. That's, or Lekro, rather. That's a little bit sloppy on his part. But still, this is a situation that really Gambit, they should have total control of. There's really no way for Godsent to get out onto this site, especially if Mo's going to hit shots.
Well, the very distressing thing for Godsent and their fans is it hasn't just been a case of Moo, hasn't been Hobbits, not been Zeus. They've all been performing well. We've had moments of brilliance from the 3 of them. Honestly, everyone's been pulling their weight. So, yeah, it is looking a little bit ominous here. Godsent, maybe they can try and save and hold on to some of these Kevlars with the pistols, but it's going to be 8-3 already to Gambit.
Woo! There we go. We missed that one, but Lekro found the shot on Hobbit.
I don't think he's going to be able to get the weapon, though, which is obviously a bit of a kick in the plums. But he's going to go down anyway to Adren through mid. Close proximity.
Kicking the
Schneider dead. Yeah.
That's a bit too, like, graphic, you know what I mean? Because the plums...
Well, we were looking at that picture that you showed me earlier. I guess that was stuck in my head. Out of context, that's
Jesus Christ, what was I showing you? All right. 3-8. Gambit continue to extend their lead here. First half, and they are on the T side, Gambit. So it is kind of going according to plan. We do expect them to come out ahead in the rounds. This is still a T-sided map. But now, Godsent, they have the full buy. They have all the nades, except for JW, who has the AWP. And JW not going to be holding drop. That's going to fall to Schneider and Pronax. JW instead looking to hunt over here on Plateau, and I like it. Godsent haven't really gone for this play just yet. They're hoping to find the lurker over here, but Gambit want nothing of it. Prepared to take over A long. It's going to work. Flush up. Picked by Mo. No chance. Tries to get the shots out there, but Mo is just too quick with that AWP.
It's brutal as well, and you can see that Gambit have been almost playing a game of chess here with Godsent. They've constantly been having a lot of pressure on B. It forces a 4-1 formation. They pick off Flusher, and then instantly they have to start rotating to A sites. This can leave them now vulnerable on B. You've got to love this calling from Gambit. They're constantly keeping Godsent on their tiptoes. They're constantly catching them in transition.
Yeah, you have certain teams sometimes that will just run one site repeatedly. This is where it gets into the mind games. But if you can have a default that is effective where you're winning the duels, this gives you so much room to work with. Zeus right now, he gets the pick of the litter. He gets to decide, right, okay, they're going to be weak on B, they're going to be weak on A. All we need to do, really, is this. Gather up. Although Adrian loses the duel versus Lekro, that's not exactly very solid work there. Brings it back to a 4-on-4, and JW's got the angle right now, but he's going to miss the chance to take the shot, and now he's going to get caught, has to back off. That's going to leave, that's going to leave Pronax alone on the site. Tough spot for him to be in. He's going to have to hit some shots here, but JW is going to chime in, takes down Mo. Zeus trading, takes down Schneider. This is getting a little bit... Wow, was that a 2-for-1?
JW was cleaning house. I mean, Lekro was going to take down the final player. I didn't quite catch it from JW's perspective, but it looks like it may have been. Maybe partially through the APC, but nonetheless, 3 kills from the bottom of balcony by himself. Those are the hero plays we're looking for. That's maybe the catalyst for a comeback.
Well, it seems to me like Gambit are really struggling. I'm not going to get the replay there, but it does seem to me like Gambit are really struggling. They're managing to take over A long effectively. They can get through underpass effectively, right? And even making their way up A slope. But that final step out into the open to try and cross onto the site, dealing with balcony, they're having a lot of trouble with it. Godsent, that's where JW was working from in that round. And we've seen Gambit give up kills to that position many times now, so they need to figure it out. What's missing? A flash? Is it having the smoke that's set up that goes out immediately to block off balcony? They have to make an adjustment there, Gambit, because that is the weak point right now for them on that A site, and that is going to force them back over here towards B.
I think Godsent have definitely read the script here, and they're a couple of pages ahead of Gambit. Can they get the execution, though? Flush is already taking a bit of damage elsewhere on the map. Nades have been exchanged through drop zone, including a smoke. Schneider's going to be waiting in the wings. Mo's already down here, and he's got 2 players just above him in drop, so Gambit are poised for a B attack. Especially considering now Dojia's come around from the backside, so they have all of their players on the B side ready for a strike.
Flusha has checked for info. I mean, Flusha right now, he's pushed all the way up to top long. All he needs to do is go for that extra peek. If he takes that extra step, 40 seconds left, he's waiting. He hasn't seen anybody, hasn't heard anything. Lekro is now rotated back over towards B. There's going to be a very solid defense here. A great call here from Pronax, making sure that his teammates are stacked up on this site because Gambit, they're running out of time. 30 seconds left. This isn't enough time here for Gambit. They really need to find a pick or just commit to the push. They have 2 flashes left on Mo. He's going to have to use 1, and it is effective versus JW at least. That gives him the opportunity to find that first kill.
Lekro with 2 from the rock, and it's going to be a miss, a swing and a miss from Mo. That's going to cost him his life, and Gambit will be losing this round from here on out. Or maybe not. 10 seconds left, and once again, they're going to get a couple of kills and have enough time for a bomb plant. This is absolutely unreal. Doja by himself will go down, but Godsent left that way too close for comfort. That looked like it should have been a shutout performance.
Especially with Gambit hesitating so much. Is it a lack of communication on Gambit right now? Are they not knowing exactly how many nades they have to work with, etc.? Because that definitely looked like Gambit did not want to commit. And with Flusha pushing all the way up through A long, if you're going to wait that long, right, a player of Flusha's quality is not going to just sit and wait. He's going to try and get some info. He's going to try and figure out what you're up to. And if he pushes all the way up to top A long like that, that's just saying the world to his teammates, right? Stack B. There's nothing over here on A. An excellent call. Very solid play there from Godsent to set that up. 5-8. They still trail, but that was a solid round. It's going to put a little bit of pressure here on Gambit to come up with something.
Double AWPs for Godsent for the first time as well. Second one being in Flush's hands. So he'll be using that once again on Danger. Does narrowly miss out on his opportunity. Did spot Doja's legs, I believe that was, and Zeus alongside with him. In the meanwhile, we do have a player up on the platform as well. That's going to be JW. Adrian just to his right-hand side. So decent positions already for Godsent. They have plenty of ability to just get a pick and then pull back and be a lot more defensive.
It does seem like they want to, exactly. There's the flash, and now Mo has the angle. This is that duel, and they're both going to miss their shots. JW gets caught in the open, though. Adrian there to get the trade and actually take advantage of that situation. The double entry from Adrian. That opens up the A side, or the B side, rather, wide.
Mo with another one. And that's going to be Godsent just bowing out of this round. Flusha has managed to get himself a kill on the board in round 14, but unfortunately too little too late. That's the downside of having 2 AWPs. If you do miss out that first opportunity, it's likely you're just going to get steamrolled, and that's exactly what's happened. Gambit again now in position to get double digits, and with Godsent going for such a heavy investment with that double AWP, you can see how that's going to hurt them in this round. It's full on pistols.
It's the round before. The issue is here is that, yes, they're trading, they're managing to put rounds together here. Godsent, they'll put 2 together, but both of those rounds are so close where it's only a couple of players surviving, if that they just have no bank to fall back on. Gambit, they win a round, boom. Godsent have to go for a force buy with pistols. They have nothing else. And so Gambit, they're actually going to take their time with this. Nice nade onto Pronax and Schneider. That's big damage. And the second one doesn't quite hit, but Hobbit is prepared for Pronax to go for this push. Sees that 75 up close, though, and he's still going to convert. Nicely done, Pronax.
Well played. And manages to scamper away and save his life. But those opening couple nades were painful. So even though Godsent have claimed the first kill, Pronax was unable to get the AK, just had to get the hell out of there. And so it's still CZs and a Deagle. And the HP advantage just edging with Gambit. And once this set play comes in, Sam, I mean, Gambit should be surely favorites to just close out the round and take a 10th.
This is the scariest sort of thing, though, is that Godsent, they're all holding close positions. They have those CZs, can do big damage to you as you come around the corner, that one-shot headshot potential. And so Gambit, they are a little bit worried about this, and it looks like they want to wrap over to B Plateau. A little bit longer range fights. They've struggled getting up onto the sites on A, and so Gambit, instead, what's going to happen is a delayed B hit here. 40 seconds left, though, and again, Gambit really running this clock down. They need to start going now to give themselves time to work with when the push begins.
Yeah, time is starting to dwindle away at a rapid speed. 30 seconds now. Come on, Gambit, you've got to get a move on to the site. We've seen that they're able to get the entry frags, but it just takes a streak of brilliance, and Gambit are out of this round. 20 seconds still, the bomb not on the site. It's starting to make a move right here, right now. Zeus is going to go in, but from behind is Lekro and Flusha, giving them the player advantage. They're both low, but again, it's the time that really counts now. Doja is going to try a double spray down, finally gets it, but Pronax is still alive in drop. 6 seconds. They're going to just about have enough time for the bomb, but it now comes down to a one-on-one. Mo has himself the AWP, and the CZ is still in hot pursuit. Smoke down onto the site. And Pronax is going to tickle that and try and draw out the remaining terrorist, who goes in with a Tech 9. And Gambit will take the round.
10-5 at the end of the first half here. Excellent work coming in here from Gambit, although that was definitely looking shaky. This is the issue here, is that's my cause for concern when it comes to Godsent. When Gambit are so clearly hesitating and not giving themselves much time to get onto the sites, it's just looking very shaky on their part. Godsent, well, granted this round they had pistols, but even in the rifle rounds, you know, they do seem to struggle locking down those rounds, taking advantage of the fact that Gambit are hesitating so much. And so right now, I mean, Gambit, they get 10 rounds, they get double digits. That's a very solid scoreline at the beginning. And now they get to kind of switch over to the CT side, where I want to say that it's less, you know, decision-based. It's more like you can kind of get your default holds. But Cobble is a bit particular when it comes to CT. Very few opportunities to push for info. Very few ways for the CT to kind of feel out how the T is going. And so this is going to be a lot of pressure on ZOWIE to kind of just get that feel where he's just going to know, okay, based off of the information gathered, it is going to be B or A. There is a bit of an element of gambling when it comes to CT side Cobble, because you really do have to just say, right, it's going to be B, stack 4 over there. Like what we saw with Pronax, right? Pronax repeatedly having 4 players on B, just waiting to see if is that going to be the correct call to make.
But again, ESM, we're seeing strength and unity. You look at the kill spread between Gambit's plays, 4 in total. Hobbit's on 14, Adrian on 10. On Godsent, 10 kill difference. Lekro's 15, Schneider's on 5. So you're just seeing, again, this collective effort from Gambit. Everyone chipping in with kills, everyone chipping in, doing their work. But the role's now reversed, of course. Maybe Godsent can start to return the favor.
And Godsent are going to go for that A push. Okay, straight through underpass. This could get a little bit tricky here for ZOWIE. He does have a CZ, though, so he should be able to pick up 1 kill at least if they decide to just rush ramp. Incendiary, curious to see where Pronax is going to use that. And a smoke. And well, Pronax is just hoping to get lucky here with a headshot. Pre-fire onto Adrian, not quite happening. Adrian instead is going to find JW. And already Gambit with the man advantage in this round. Mo holding it long, waiting to see for Flusha, but he's going to hear Lekro coming and hits him midair. Beautiful shot there from Mo. Flusha in position, does his job, but then ZOWIE is there to take down Pronax. They're maintaining the man advantage here, Gambit.
Which is so, so important, especially when on the terrorist side, he can just rush through all guns blazing. That's no longer the case. Flusha's all by himself. He's got a USP. He's now got control of the bomb. But those are the only silver linings overhead, a very dark cloud about to rain down on him. It's not even a case that Gambit are low. They're all pretty healthy. So this looking like Gambit are going to take the second pistol round and escalate themselves forward onto that finish line. It's Hobbit that does seal the deal. Well played by Gambit.
Very difficult stuff here for Godsent. It's kind of similar to what we saw in the pistol round from Gambit, however. I mean, a lot of hesitation, very slow play. And when you're going for that kind of slow play, when you're trying to base your strategy around a pick the way it looked like there with Pronax hoping to, you know, get that shot onto Adrian. I mean, if you don't hit your shots, if Adrian instead takes down JW and starts the ball rolling for your opposition, that's where that slow approach really kind of stagnates, right? We see other teams when they approach Cobblestone, it seems like they just want to get the pistol, the T-side pistol over with. It's just straight A rush and actually just try and bowl your way onto the site. Don't let your opponent set up. Don't let them try and find picks on you. Instead, just run right into them. Not the case this time, however.
4 UMPs. You know, we're talking about bulldozing down the opposition. That's a whole lot of spray potential. Whereas Godsent, interestingly, have gone for a scout. So I would suggest a slower pace round on the cards. Rest of the team, of course, do have the likes of Tech 9, CZs, the Eagles, and the like. But only 1 smoke to work off. I'm not a huge fan of Godsent's buy here, and I think Gambit are going to be more than capable of holding them off.
I mean, it is just like that force, right? They didn't get the pistol. They didn't get the plant, so they're going to try and make something happen here. Unfortunately, Lekro's going to get tapped away by Hobbit. And that's over on Plateau as well. So long as Hobbit isn't feeling pressure, if he can continue to hold this ramp area, it's going to be so difficult for Godsent to push through. And even then, Hobbit continues to play passively. Mo going to hunt down Flusha with that scout, just really difficult for him to take the fight. And then Mo just drops Pronax. That's the bomb out in the open. They're getting picked off one at a time here, Godsent.
Yeah, that is really the issue with playing a slow T round in this kind of a scenario with the scout. I mean, you're almost forced into a slow round.
Pretty surprised of Mo's choice there to actually close the gap. When the bomb is dropped out in the open like that, why would you get close against pistols? This is the thing. Sometimes pro players, it's just like, well, I mean, it's like they forget that, hey, if I actually get close, I take away the advantage of my helmet. Because then a CZ, then a P250, these pistols will one-shot headshot me, and I give that player a chance to shut me out, right? Not really sure, but whatever. Mo feeling pretty good about themselves. I think Gambit as a whole are feeling pretty good about themselves, considering they're up 12-5 right now versus Godsent, and they're going into a hard eco here, Godsent as well. So this should just be Gambit farming money with these UMPs.
Oh, Adrian. This is against full Glock, so, I mean, if he was against P250s or Tech 9, you'd be really worried for him. Glock's not so much. Now he has his partner in crime of Hobbit that's just behind him. He'll be spraying down with the UMP. He gets the one kill. Lekro should be getting put down, and indeed he will. And even if Adrian dies, it's just the UMP. It's not the end of the world. They can replenish that through into the next round. And Godsent's hopes of maybe just getting a one planter looking to be quickly evaporating.
Yeah, a bit of a shame that Flesher was just a second too late there to eat that nade. That would have been a sick follow-up. Trying to get the trade killed. Nope, get an HE to the face. 90 damage. Boom, sit down. Was possible, but Zeus, I think, is going to have a little bit of fun over here. Might be close enough to hear him. I think his teammate in Underpass is close enough to hear those steps, and so he really wants to hunt. And unfortunately for him, he has no idea that JW is holding close right around the corner. Flicks onto him, manages to get the spray. Not going to get the follow-up, however, and Zeus gets punished for his greediness. Thing is that Mo here is going to just reestablish order. Bomb is dropped, and he just goes leaping in. Big money for Mo in this round. $1,200 on top of the win bonus. That sets him up nicely for his AWP. Immediately going to upgrade to that.
Well, this is it, Godsent. You've got to start winning rounds. This is one of the best buys you're going to have for the rest of this map if you lose this. So it has to be right here, right now. 8 rounds behind. Can you break back? Can you take Gambit's economy away? It's still going to be another couple of rounds before that happens, of course. Just Mo is low with $700. And that's as a result of his AWP pickup. But the comeback has to start right now. If it doesn't, Gambit are going to be very briskly moving towards a 1-0 lead in this best-of-3 semi-final.
Bit of a shame there that that first pick was a miss for Mo. Zeus taking some damage in the exchange as well. Mo was close enough to hear Flusha stomping around an underpass as well. So Zeus does need to exactly get into a position to cover his teammates back. And Mo now starting to worry about danger. They are going to adjust to this appropriately, Gambit, falling back to the site because they've lost control of underpass for now. So a little bit of a scary scenario over there on A. In the meantime, Godsent making some noise over here on B. That's where JW is actually taking a little bit of damage himself. And so we're kind of balanced here between both teams. But we have now gotten to that minute mark. So Godsent, you still haven't gotten a pick. What is going to be the call here for you? Bomb is over in B Hull, so maybe that's an indicator.
Yeah, no pick in JW's already been wrecked down to just a third of his health. No real estate either. The CTs even have a player in mid, and that's going to be Adrian moving back. So he's counted out a little bit. Now the AWP can set up into position, and this is looking worse and worse as every second goes by. It's all too easy for Gambit. The crossfire's on point. Adrian with 2, Mo with the others, and Flusha. He's going to at least put down a bit of pain before he inevitably falls. But fall he shall, and it will be to Hobbit's hands, 14-5.
Just a shutout right now. They're in position. Zeus making the correct call to rotate an extra man over to A. They just run into the blender there, Godsent. And that's a really difficult scenario, right? You have to deal with Mo at connector. You're just kind of running in there hoping that you're going to pre-fire him, but he's too quick, Mo. This is the cape. Mo is right on the edge of becoming one of those very solid oppers, you know, a standout opper. Could have the potential to even go top 5 when he's on his game, right? He is a very quick, stable opper that you can count on. Consistency is key with him. And so if you're going to give him the chance to just sit and hold that angle and you're going to step into it hoping to pre-fire him, you're going to be in for a bit of a sad time, as we just saw. Godsent now going for the force buy. They have no room to give. They have to go for the rush, and here's the change of pace. Out on the plateau. Hobbit going to be able to spray one in the back, and that sets it up for Mo to drop Flusha. And now it's all falling apart here for Godsent. Excellent work so far from Gambit. That crossfire just so difficult to deal with.
And this is the round that I thought we'd see from Godsent the second round after they lost the pistol and went for that scout buy. I thought that was the explosive sort of round we'd see when Gambit would have less weapons, where they'd have less nades, they wouldn't have an AWP in play, they wouldn't be able to get the picks on the cross. So going for that tactic now, I mean, fair enough, they wouldn't really offer too much other alternatives, but it just seems too little too late. They're going to have a solid buy here, but just one mistake, one slip up, Gambit have got this map under wraps.
Now the full rifle buy coming in here for Godsent, but they need 10 in a row on T-side Cobble, and Mo gets the pick on Lekro. Aggro whopping at its best, and the spray gonna chase Hobbit out of there, but he doesn't take much damage at all. He's down to 74, whereas Pronax gets sprayed down to half HP. Godsent just can't seem to get anything going their way. Pronax down to 21. Bit of a sunburn. He's a Swede. He can't stay out long in the heat. It's true, man. They just can't take any sun.
Mate, I'm from the Northeast. I know that feeling all too well.
Oh, well, yeah, the Brits have the same problem. Those are with the double spray, and this is pretty much it. Flusha, though, going to find the kill on Zeus, and that sets it up. Mo toying with him. The drive-by, and he gets the kill in the end. For shame.
So Pronax, I was going to say, can you get anything done? No. Mo puts him out of his misery. 16-5, as dominant as you like. Mo with 25-10, Hobbit with 21-11. Way too easy for Gambit and Godsent. They're going to have to somehow put their heads together and figure a way back into this best of 3.
Well, we'll see if they, eventually wake up. That's the thing. You can see they just look dejected in the booth right now. They do not look happy about the result. I mean, pretty hard to feel happy about getting your head caved in, but still, I mean, the discussion has to happen where they actually start to get some heart going into the second map, because Gambit right now, they're full of confidence. They completely and utterly destroyed Cloud9 yesterday. They know that they've got a system that works. They're all hitting their shots. So when you're going up against that kind of beast and you're Godsent, you're gonna have to dig deep. Maybe that they have to ask for the energy from this Swedish crowd.
Trying to look optimistically, they did look solid on Train on the first day when we casted them. So maybe Train is where they can start to steer this back in their favor. But if they perform like that again, and if Mo is performing that well with the AWP on Train, I'm not so sure I can see it happening. This could end up being a pretty fast 2-0.
All right, guys. Well, we're going to be taking a very short break. When we come back, we'll have the second map here in the second semifinal of the day between Godsent and Gambit, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back in 5 minutes.